When we think of ranches, we envision a large house in the middle of a field, where animals are raised and crops are tended to. However, some ranches in Mexico are also used to harbor criminals, cultivate drugs, store weapons, and record threatening messages flaunting military-grade armaments, perhaps even hiding victims of kidnappings. It's just another Monday for any narco. That's why today we'll quickly discuss recent blows by the Army and security forces against ranches linked to the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Stay with us until the end of the video, but not before reminding you to subscribe to the channel, leave your powerful like and comment, as your support keeps this investigative project going. Now, let's get started. The Mexican Army carried out a series of raids on a couple of ranches located in Michoacán and Aguascalientes respectively. It is known that the ranch raided in Michoacán belonged to Enrique Guerrero Martinez, alias El Tío Loco, leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in Michoacán. The criminal is implicated in the kidnapping of Yolanda Sanchez Figueroa, the mayor of the Michoacán municipality of Cotija. The federal and state authorities deployed an operation based on a search warrant executed by the Attorney General Office. This operation, supported by the Army and the Civil Guard, took place in the town of Tinaja de Vargas, in the municipality of Tanhuato, where the CJNG network was located. During the operation, 5 alleged members of the elite group were detained, who were allegedly involved in illegal activities. However, it is worth noting that this race was not a stroke of luck. The Mexican Army, in collaboration with the federal police, has been conducting a series of operations against the cartels in Mexico in an effort to dismantle their networks and apprehend their leaders and hitmen. This operation, the raid on the ranch, was part of a long investigation that led authorities to this location where a CJNG network was suspected to be operating. The raid of the ranch was carried out by an elite group of the Army that received intelligence information about the presence of the CJNG members at the location. Upon arriving at the ranch, security forces surrounded the property and proceeded to enter for the corresponding inspection. Upon the authorities' arrival at the premises, they found only 3 illegal captive felons. El Tío Laco fled minutes before the agents' arrival, which clearly led us to assume that there was a leak of information from the authorities regarding the operation. The animals found were an African lion, a Melanistic jaguar, and a Bengal tiger, aged 4 months, 3 months, and 5 months respectively. All of them were placed under the custody of the Federal Attorney for Environmental Protection, which authorized their transfer to Benito Juárez Zoo in the city of Morelia. Authorities are still actively conducting a search operation for El Tío Laco in municipalities in Michoacán that border Jalisco, although his main stronghold is Tinaja de Vargas, where historically members of their Guerrero family have been linked to drug trafficking. During the raid, 5 alleged members of the CJNG were also arrested, who were identified as leaders of the network operating on the ranch. According to authorities, these individuals were involved in criminal activities in the region. The detainees were placed at the disposal of the prosecutor's office to carry out the corresponding investigation and determine their involvement in criminal activities. Guerrero Martinez will be the mastermind behind the kidnapping of Yolanda Sanchez Figueroa, a PAN mayor of the Michoacán municipality of Cotija, who was kidnapped on September 23 by an armed. The events took place near the Endeavor Square in Zapopan, Jalisco, but she was released on Tuesday, September 26. Sanchez Figueroa was delivered safe and sound to the municipal police of Villamar, Michoacán, a town adjacent to Cotija. Following her release, the Jalisco Prosecutor's Office arrested 3 alleged suspects who had initially been sought for another crime. Enrique Guerrero Martinez is known to be close to Nemesio Segarra Cervantes, El Mencho, the main leader of the CJNG. El Tío Laco assumed power over Los Guerreros in December 2011, following the assassination of his brother, leader of that organization, Javier Guerrero Martinez, who in turn was a partner of El Mencho. In November 2015, he was arrested along with 6 of his bodyguards as the alleged mastermind and material author of the murder of Enrique Hernandez Salcedo, a self-defense leader and then Morena candidate for the municipal presidency of Yuracuaro, adjacent to Tanguato. However, Tiolaco was released shortly thereafter. The connection between Los Guerreros and Los Guerra Cervantes is as deep as it is ancient. Gabriel Martinez is a highly priority target due to his closeness to the criminal leader of the CJNG, Nemesio Seguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho. Continuing with the topic, the second ranch raided, and I emphasize the second ranch with quotes because it is actually a vacation home, is located in Aguascalientes. Members of the Aguascalientes State Attorney General Office raided a house from which alleged members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel had allegedly recorded a video of their arrival in the state, in which they pointed out officials. The actions of the authorities took place on Thursday, February 9th, and the property is located in the community of El Saucillo. Army personnel, state police, as well as the National Guard members attended the scene. Local media reported that the house will be offered for rent as a vacation. In response to these events, the state prosecutors, Jesus Figueroa Ortega, confirmed that an investigation had been initiated. Through social media, an interview with Figueroa was shared, in which he mentioned that this was not the first time such incident had occurred. We have to see who were attacking in this group. It has been mentioned for many years that it's present in Aguascalientes. Apparently, the message that initiated the investigation and triggered the raid was shared on Monday, February 6th. It was a video in which around 30 men with long weapons, covered faces, and military-style clothing appeared, addressing that they called the Ministerial Cartel. The alleged hitman of the CJNG addressed Jorge Cano Guerra, also pointing out alleged monthly payments of thousands of pesos. They also accused that, when their colleagues are detained, the prosecutor's office tortures them and plans strikes on them, according to what was said in the narco message. Another individual identified as Carlo Adrian Andrade Palos will be in charge of making threats, and they pointed out that this person received alleged monthly payments. They even accused him of betrayal. After the recording was made public on February 8th, the appearance of at least 2 narco-mentes signed by the Sinaloa Cartel was reported, which will be a response to the message from the cartel of the 4 letters. So friends, does this mean that the war has started in Aguascalientes? Well, it seems that way. In recent days, 13 vehicles were set on fire and were sprung from the Sinaloa Cartel to the arrival of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in Aguascalientes. It serves as a warning to authorities and society about the violence that will ensue if the dispute for control of the plaza is not stopped. This was hinted by the academic Edgar Guerra Blanco, a researcher at the National Council of Humanities, Science and Technologies, who emphasized that the wave of violence over the past weekend in Aguascalientes cannot be considered a coincidence. In an interview with Irocalido Portal, the academic pointed out that this type of communication from criminals to authorities and society is not new. It has been seen in the past as retaliation for arrests or operations. Let's not forget the Culiacanazo and the release of Ovidio Guzman. However, this time it has an immediate precedent: the announcement of a new conflict between the Sinaloa Cartel and the CJNG for control of Aguascalientes. During Sunday night and early Monday morning, 2 taxis, 3 private cars, 2 personal transport trucks, and a passenger bus, among others, were set on fire in retaliation for the detention of 3 alleged members of the Sinaloa Cartel. It is worth remembering that the immediate precedent of the vehicles burning was the appearance of graffiti on one of the columns of a tunnel in the city of Aguascalientes and the release of a narco-corrido title, Let the Game Begin, launched on February 8th on the YouTube channel of Premium Records. Apparently, at this point, the cartels prefer to dedicate threatening songs to each other instead of the traditional threat videos. Continuing with the theme in the narco-corrido Let the Game Begin, it talks about Nemesio Seguera Cervantes alias El Mencho, leader of the CJNG, the arsenal they have to dispute control, and who their local leader El Charro is. Although all the burned vehicles were parked on public streets at the time they were set on fire, and there were no injuries. One of the attacks was captured on video when men on a motorcycle threw a Molotov cocktail at a passenger transport truck, which quickly ignited. The video and images of the violent incident flooded social media, causing chaos and panic among the inhabitants of Aguascalientes. This is also a strategy of the narco to instill terror in society and taking advantages of it to commit other crimes such as extortion and protection money collection, warns Guerra Blanco. However, the war for Aguascalientes between the Sinaloa Cartel and the CJNG is not new. The former head of the Secretary of Public Security, Porfirio Sanchez Mendoza, admitted in October 2022 that the state was besieged by the forces of both criminal organizations due to its geographical importance in drug routes to the United States. In addition to statements from the head of public security, leaks from Guacamaya, leaked to the Secretary of National Defense, reveals the document Criminal Activity and Drug Trafficking Routes, Aguascalientes, which recognized at least 4 criminal routes with a presence in the state bordering Jalisco and Zacatecas: Los Talibanes, Los Michoacanos, the CJNG, and La Oficina. But apparently, the territorial dispute goes even further back, meaning it dates back to more years ago because between May and September 2018, several narco-commandos signed by the Sinaloa Cartel and the CJNG appeared, issuing threats, and both criminal organizations claim that Aguascalientes was already under their control. In regards to this conflict, the war of information has been present but perhaps somewhat confusingly. On several previous occasions, there were videos of different groups of armed individuals claiming to be members of the CJNG and stating that they have arrived in Aguascalientes. However, these videos were dismissed as false because there was no certainty that they were actually members of the feared cartel. Nevertheless, what has been certain is that over the past few years, members of different armed branches of the CJNG has ended being arriving in Aguascalientes. So apparently, those videos for which there was no certainty turned out to be true. The CJNG is not only present in Aguascalientes, but also is willing to challenge the Sinaloa Cartel for control of the territory. And all this wouldn't be a problem if they just limited themselves to making threatening corridos like "Let the game begin." Unfortunately, their narcos don't operate that way. This confrontation only augurs more violence, extortion, and kidnappings in the region, and perhaps the recent burning of 13 vehicles last weekend might be just a prelude to what's coming. Aguascalientes is an important point for drug trafficking, and it's also a region that has been accused of alleged corruption in its security institutions, where in previous years, high-ranking members of the security forces have been accused of being on the payroll of some cartel. Amid these tense atmospheres, the population of Aguascalientes may wonder if the situation experienced in Chiapas, which is currently a war zone between the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, will be repeated but now in Aguascalientes territory. What do you think? Do you believe the same will happen? Will Aguascalientes become a conflict zone between both powerful cartels? Or will they maintain a sort of cold war between continuing the drug trail? I would like to know your opinion in the comments. For now, that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining us until the end of the video. Let me remind you that if you like our content and want to support us, please subscribe, leave your like, and activate the notification bell. Your support is what makes this investigative project possible and keeps it afloat. For now, with nothing more to say, I bid you farewell until the next video.